You've demanded it. We've created it.
Welcome to Jason and Jacob's Talking 12 podcast. First down.
Exclusive.
All right, some shocking news this week. Thorold Simon was cut. How you feel about that?
It's really too bad. He showed a lot of potential, but he couldn't stay away from that injury bug.
Yeah, I was shocked to say the least. He hasn't been able to play a whole lot of games, but one of the things I did hear from Richard Sherman was that Richard Sherman actually said that he could be a better corner than him. And Richard Sherman doesn't say that about too many people.
No. It just shows how much potential he had, but, I mean, you can't be a good football player and keep getting injured every week.
That's true, but I have a feeling he's going to end up on someone else's team somewhere, and we'll see. I hope we don't regret letting him go, but I think there's also some, he could end up back with us too. He could get re-signed after his injury settlement or whatever, so we'll see what happens.
I mean, no matter what, I wish him luck and the best. He's a really great player. I would have loved to have seen him play a little more, but...
Definitely. Second down. All right, let's talk about the Seahawks defense. I thought they were amazing. How'd you feel about them?
I thought they were really good. I mean, they held the team to 10 points. Anytime you do that, it's always a solid outing for your defense. I hope for that every week.
Definitely. The only one thing, I've heard people talking about how Earl Thomas did not have a very good game. What do you think?
I think everyone's going to have their bad games, and he just happened to miss a couple tackles, and now everyone's talking about how bad of a game he had. At the end of the day, he's still an all-pro safety for the Seahawks, so I'm not too worried about him playing. I'm excited to watch him the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I know a couple of those plays, I think it was just mixed communication. I saw him turn around and look to see who missed the play. I don't even think it was his fault. He threw his hands up and he was like, what's going on? So I honestly don't think it was all his fault, and that's going to happen week one. So
I mean, when you think of defense, you think of big explosive plays, and I think he was just trying to make those. He had a couple misses. Nothing too terrible. Whatever.
All right, who really stood out on defense to you? Because I got a couple people in mind right now.
Who stood out on defense? KJ Wright. I mean, he's always been a solid linebacker, but 11 tackles and a sack. Yeah. That's good. That's a good defensive day. That
is a good defensive day. I wish I knew those numbers myself. But my really standout, I thought, Cassius Marsh. He was everywhere. He really seemed to be everywhere.
I love that guy.
He was smacking balls down. He was sacking the quarterback. He was tackling people inside and outside. It was pretty awesome.
You have a good defense when you're excited to see those backup defensive ends come into the game and make some plays.
Yeah, definitely. And Frank Clark made himself noticed too.
Oh yeah, definitely. That guy's going to be a stud. Give him a couple years, he's going to be a defensive stud.
I agree with you. Yeah, I think our defense is looking awesome. I don't think there's anything to worry about on defense.
Nothing.
Yeah, that's it. We're just amazing. Period.
Decent.
Third down. All right, let's talk about our running game. What did you see, and what are you thinking about it right now?
Christine Michael, I thought he had a pretty good outing, to be honest with you. But when you saw Thomas Rawls run, you could really see who was going to be our starter.
Yeah, Kristen Michael did well. He actually had more yards per carry than Thomas Rawls. But something about the situations when Thomas Rawls came in, he was getting the yards he needed at that time.
Just the way he ran looked like a starter.
Knocking people over at the line.
That's right.
So, I think we definitely need some work on the running game. It wasn't great by any means. It was barely enough to get us by, but it was enough.
It's definitely going to be nice having Christine Michael as a backup, too, when we need him for those tough situations when Rawls is a little tired. It's going to be nice having that guy who can come in and pick up, a good 5-6 yards for us.
Yeah, and speaking of running backs, I don't know if some of you have heard some rumors out that Marshawn Lynch has had a little thought about possibly coming out of retirement. What do you think about that one?
Oh, that's my favorite running back ever. I would love to see him come back. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But it would be really cool to see him come back, help us, get to that next Super Bowl.
If he comes back out of retirement, it's all good for the Seahawks because it's a win-win situation. If we are struggling at running at that point, obviously they're going to do their best to clear the cap room to get him back in the field. And if we are running game is good, then we hold the rights to him and we can trade him off as, for picks or whatever. So it's a win-win situation. I would hate to see him be traded. As far as I'm concerned, he's a Seahawk for life. But if it happens, it happens.
I guess if he comes back, I'm unretiring my Marshawn Lynch jersey. Wearing it a couple more times.
I think you should unretire it anyway because we need some Thomas Rawls beast mode.
We about to kick it up a notch.
Let's talk about Russell Wilson. Pretty gnarly injury he had on Sunday, huh?
It was absolutely horrific at first.
I think I'm going to throw up.
I definitely thought that he broke that thing, to be honest with you. I thought we weren't going to be seeing Russell Wilson there for a few weeks.
Yeah, when you see 330 pounds coming down and twisting an ankle backwards, you're probably thinking it's over.
Yeah, Russell Wilson definitely a tough guy coming back into that game.
Yeah, but how scared were you on the next two plays when he was standing on one foot trying to throw passes?
I was a little worried, but I wasn't really scared. I feel like he would have taken himself out of the game if he knew something terrible was wrong.
See, I'm not sure. That's why I worry about him because he is so competitive that I don't know if he'll take himself out or not. And you could see he was not going out. Right. And now we know who's really running that offense. It's not the offensive coordinator. It's not Pete Carroll. It's Russell Wilson. Exactly. He's choosing who's playing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just that too. And the way he finished on that sprained ankle or whatever it is, I'm not exactly sure what they diagnosed it as, but the way he finished on that really shows his competitive spirit as a football player.
Yeah, from what I've heard, it's a light sprain, low ankle. So
that's good. That's
the key words right there. You want to hear low ankle. As soon as you hear high ankle, then you better find a backup.
Yeah, I know they're expecting him to play this Sunday and hoping. I don't think he'll be 100% this weekend, but I think he'll definitely. He always does what's needed to be done to win the football game. So.
Yeah, and that final drive, what can you say? Hurt ankle or not, that was Russell Wilson at his finest, as we always see in the fourth quarter. Fourth down, 2 times we have fourth down, and they pull it off.
Even a 50% Russell Wilson, I would take over most quarterbacks because he can just lead that offense to anything. He can win those football games in those tough situations.
Agreed 100%, and I heard that was an audible 2nd and goal that he called at the line of scrimmage to fade it to the best wide receiver on our team, Doug Baldwin.
Man, that guy's insane, let me tell you what.
Dougie B coming through again.
He'll catch anything you throw his way.
Yeah, another amazing game by Doug Baldwin.
Amazing.
Earning his contract, 9 catches, 92 yards with a touchdown.
Beautiful. I'll take that all day.
All day long. And then, Jermaine Kearse, Thomas Rawls, Luke Wilson, Tyler Lockett, C.J. Prosise, everyone caught something. Jimmy Graham even caught a pass.
See, I was a little worried through the game about Tyler Lockett with those 3 drops.
Yeah, he did have some drops, but this team, they're very competitive. That will not continue.
Right.
4th down. All right, we're going to talk a little offensive line now. Had a rough start to the game. Let a lot of pressure get in Russell Wilson's face, but overall, it could have been worse.
Offensive line's always been a position that we struggled with, and when you see so much hope during the preseason, you hope that that's going to go over to the regular season, but it doesn't always happen. To me, preseason is more of like it's not necessarily showing you what you're going to be in the regular season. It's more showing your potential for the season.
Yeah, and Jermaine Ifedi was a big plus to that offensive line, and we didn't get to see him, but hopefully soon.
Yeah, I did read a couple things that he'll be back about 2 weeks.
We need him.
Yeah, definitely. It would be nice to see that rookie do his job on the offensive line, hopefully get a little better at protecting Russell Wilson there and back in the pocket, especially with that ankle injury that he's suffering right now.
Yeah, and one thing I did notice is that after that ankle injury, that offensive line did their jobs.
They definitely stepped up.
That was the best part of their game was the last final drive when they gave him the time he needed.
I mean, your offensive lineman, your job is to protect that quarterback, and when he gets injured, that's on you. So you really got to step up, play your game, especially when he's injured.
Yeah, so that'll be an interesting thing to watch for in the up-and-coming games, the offensive line, and how they can juggle that around until our new rookie star comes back, Jermaine Ifedi, and hopefully he can come back at 100%.
That's right. I'm so excited to watch him play. Should be a lot of fun.
Overtime. Right now I would like to talk about favorite plays of the game, and I've had one in mind, and let's see what Jacob's is.
Mine was the 4th and 1 stop.
The 4th and 1 stop. It's like you read my mind. Probably because I texted you a bunch right after it too, but
probably.
I couldn't believe it. I was so happy when the Dolphins decided to go for it on 4th and 1 in field goal range against the best defense for 4 years in a row.
I mean, they were in field goal range, and that could have won them the game right there.
It definitely could have. It definitely would have changed the game. Now, I know a lot of people are saying that dropped pass by the Dolphins also would have won them the game. But I disagree. We would have played differently. It would have changed the game for sure.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I definitely believe that when the Seahawks are down, they change the game. And why they don't play like that all the time, I'm not sure. What do you think?
Well, when you have 4th one against Seahawks and you're in field goal range, you got to kick the field goal.
Have to.
You have to.
And it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And people do it against us all the time.
It's unexplainable. I don't know why you'd ever go for it. I don't know why coaches ever go for it against us on the 4th down, but you got to take the easy 3 points. It's hard enough to score points on us. You better take those 3 points.
Agreed, 100%. If you have a chance to score against the Seahawks, you better do it. That's all I have to say.
That's right.
All right, let's get to our final segment, and that would be player of the game versus the Miami Dolphins week 1. Jacob, who's your player of the game?
I could have went with the easy one and picked Russell Wilson for that 4th quarter drive to win the game, but I decided to go with Doug Baldwin. He had a fantastic game, 9 receptions, 92 yards, a touchdown, really catching anything that came his way.
Everything.
I mean, he's an undersized receiver. I feel like he doesn't get enough credit in the NFL.
Is he pedestrian? Is that what you're saying?
He's very pedestrian.
Let's not start that again. But, okay, so I did take the easy way out. I'm going with Russell Wilson. Couldn't even stand on the ankle. The 2 plays that I just thought, oh my goodness, he's not coming back out. And sure enough, he comes back out, leads us down the field, 4th quarter drive again to win the game. I got to go Russell Wilson. I mean, I'd like to give the defense a lot of credit, but there's not one guy on the defense that took over. It was the whole defense. So I'd either have to give it to the whole defense, but I'm going with Russell Wilson.
Great pick.
All right, we're looking forward to next week. We're playing the L.A. Rams, the mighty L.A. Rams. You pretty worried about this one, Jacob?
They played their game last week. They didn't do too well against 49ers, to say the least.
Terrible, as a matter of fact.
But I'm not going to put my guard down. We always play – it's always a tough game against the Rams.
That's very true. And you always have to watch for fakes and fake field goals and fake punts, and they're just crazy like that.
Yeah, I'm not saying we're going to blow them out or anything, but yeah, I don't know what I'm saying.
Well, this looks like the Seahawks of the past. It's going to be heart attacks until the end. It's going to look like for the first few weeks anyway.
Right. First few weeks will be like that, and I think once we get to the end of the season, everything starts clicking. I think we're going to get that home field advantage, and that's a ticket straight to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's a huge loss for the Arizona Cardinals. That was big for us.
Yeah, definitely.
So, all right, we're looking forward. Next week, we got LA Rams. All right, thank you for joining us, everyone, on our first podcast, Week 1 versus Miami Dolphins. It's Jason and Jacob.
Stay tuned for our next week podcast.
Powering down all systems. Initiating system sequence shutdown.